Now I'm going to take you back all the way to 2016 with the initial release of No Man's Sky. The majority of people were severely disappointed with No Man's Sky's initial release. The game was lacking so many gameplay features, and you've probably seen a comparison video of the trailer versus what we actually got, and it's ridiculous how much they took out. Hello Games obviously didn't deliver on their promises, and a lot of people who picked up the game in its initial release window felt very cheated. But that was all the way back in 2016. Now in 2020, No Man's Sky has been updated quite a lot. Sean Murray's team didn't just abandon the game after it got poor reception, they kept working on it, adding both new gameplay and graphical features. Hello Games has done a lot to rectify their wrongdoings with countless big updates that really changed the perception of people who picked up the game initially. The first update to really change No Man's Sky forever was called Next, and this Next update was the reason why No Man's Sky got put on the path of redemption. In the next update, multiplayer was finally introduced, and it was a bit more limited than what it would be later on, but it was quite a substantial thing to be brought into No Man's Sky because it was a feature that was promised at launch. I will expand on the multiplayer when we get to the Beyond section, but there wasn't really much to do in the multiplayer side of things when it was first implemented. VR was also introduced in the next update. I haven't played it in VR because I don't own VR, but from what I've heard it's a very stable version of the game, but with a slight graphical downgrade, which is fine. You can also cross-play with people who don't have VR and people that do, so you're not isolated if you're playing either way, which is absolutely fantastic, so kudos to Hello Games in that regard. The biggest change in the next update was the graphical upgrade, which was so substantial it made the original version of the game look like a PS3 title. Honestly, if you look up a comparison between the next update and the original build of the game, it's absolutely astonishing how much they changed, updated, and really improved all of the texture quality in the game. It's honestly massively impressive. One of the biggest factors in No Man's Sky, and actually I'd say the whole game revolves around this factor, is Traversal. Hello Games added new vehicles for you to traverse a new planet, allowing you to explore areas quicker and more efficiently than simply walking or wasting your ship's fuel to get a few meters ahead. You can now also build a base in your own image, and a place for you to rest and craft on any planet that you come across. These bases can also hold a garage for your terrain vehicles, and also a teleporter to get you back to the space station quickly and efficiently, rather than flying up there, wasting fuel, going back and wasting fuel. After the release of the next update, we got the Beyond update, which released in 2019, which more so expanded on the features of the next update and improved them by a landslide. So here are all the features that were introduced in the Beyond update. In its initial release, the gameplay just felt, well, meaningless, and it still sort of does. There's nothing really to do in the world. Yes, you can find some crashed ships, but there's no real side quests to do. It doesn't mean the gameplay is not enjoyable, and I'm not saying that at all, but it would be more fun if there was something to do. It's not this big space-oriented open world RPG that you'd hope it to be. The game is more expanded now due to the Beyond update, especially on the side of RPG mechanics through NPCs in the space station, and it sounds weird, but the space station actually feels like a space station. And in addition to that, you can also find distress calls and ancient ruins, which keep you entertained enough on each planet to make the gameplay not feel so monotonous. One of the biggest features that I wanted to be introduced in the Beyond update was being able to customize your character, and with the Beyond update you can do exactly that. You can now customize your character in any way you'd like, a new helmet, a new chest piece, anything that you'd like. It really makes the character feel like you and not just some blank slate pilot that you've been playing as since the release of the game. This is also greatly accompanied by the third person mode, which wasn't there at launch, and it just adds a new dynamic for you to play, and in my personal preference, third person is the way to go. It just suits the game better than a first person perspective, especially in exploration games, but once again that's just down to personal preference, so please don't take my word as gospel. The biggest factor in the next update, which was expanded in the Beyond update in No Man's Sky, was multiplayer, which was a feature that was promised at launch. And we kind of did see it at launch. There was a ball which represented another player who was somewhere else in the world right now, who was playing on your planet. And it was kind of multiplayer. There was no cross-world interactions, but it was kind of there. But with the Beyond update, they included proper multiplayer. You were able to explore the solar system with your friends or just random people. The few times that I have played the multiplayer, the dynamic was great. But I do kind of feel like No Man's Sky is suited to single player, but it's still fun to hop in with your friends occasionally. Especially when you're crafting a new base and exploring a new planet. After the Beyond update, I really did think that Hello Games were done with No Man's Sky, but after the development on the Beyond update finished, they got to work on the Living Ships update, which released earlier this year in 2020. And so this segment of the video is going to be relating to all the game-changing features that were brought in with the Living Ships update. The Living Ships update provided new and welcomed features to No Man's Sky. A fantastic feature is the newly fleshed out story missions for you to partake in, and it's more welcome than a boring, meaningless side quest. With a game surrounded by space and planets and an unlimited universe worth of exploration, you'd think there'd be more to do in space. With the Living Ships update, there are now space interactions for you to get involved in, and by doing so, earning you very valuable rewards. By doing this, it makes sure that you're not just aimlessly wandering space, just trying to get to the next planet. It gives you a reason to explore outside of the planets, and by doing this exploration, you get rewarded by it, so I think that's a really nice feature to keep things spiced up in the gameplay, especially when traversing through different planets. And NPCs aren't just on space stations now, there are NPCs in space where you can buy valuable resources which are only found at these NPC bases. A greatly needed feature of No Man's Sky's multiplayer is group warping. You can be lost on a particular planet and be brought back to the group. You can find something cool and bring your friends along to show them. It's a nice feature, small but nice. These quality of life improvements really make the overall experience of the game so much more enjoyable. If these quality of life improvements weren't here, I feel like the multiplayer side of No Man's Sky would have really suffered. So the fact that Hello Games have put the players at the centre of their development really made a big change. Hello Games have done a lot to keep supporting No Man's Sky. Many other developers would have just left the game after the amount of hate that Hello Games and Sean Murray got when No Man's Sky released. Sean Murray is trying to keep his promises, and although they have been delayed, they are still updating and expanding the game to what it should have been. Especially to entice new players to see what the almost infinite universe can offer to them. If Hello Games keep updating the game for even more years to come, No Man's Sky could be fantastic and a game that everyone plays. Its possibilities are almost endless. just like the universe, you can explore from top to bottom. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then subscribe and turn on that notification button so you don't miss another upload from me. So thank you and goodbye.